Hi everybody, I'm Jack and welcome to another episode of Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. So what is this simple trick that I'm talking about? This simple trick that's going to transform your life and it's going to make it easy. It's something I've talked about before. It's simply will. Turning the switch in your head. I started thinking about this video actually about 4 or 5 days ago, back before the weekend. I saw a video that somebody had shared and it just really got me thinking about the way I think that was the title of his video, but the thought anyway was definitely that. And his video was, I don't have willpower, I am willpower. And this guy, I mean, his transformation was pretty freaking crazy drastic. He went from about, oh God, I don't remember, I don't know how tall he was, but he was big, like really big, like maybe, like depending on his height, like 350, 400 pounds big. Maybe he was 350 if he was shorter, but just the transformation. And he said, yes, I am willpower. He flipped a switch and he just made a decision one day. And that's really what it's going to take. You're just kind of floundering along until you flip the switch and make the decision. Now you may not know that there is a switch to flip. You may not know that you haven't flipped that switch. But if you haven't gotten to where you want to be, or if you don't feel like you're really on that path to being where you want to be and you're solid on it, you haven't flipped that switch yet. I've talked about this before, like when I went raw vegan. Okay, now the raw part, yes, takes a little more easing into, but out of the three that I'm talking about here, losing weight, being vegan, being raw vegan, vegan's the easiest one of all. Vegan is the easiest one of all. If you have to do it in your mind, even if you're not, if you're trying to go vegan for health, tell yourself you're going vegan for the ethical reasons. Maybe that will actually manifest itself as you get cleaner, because once I went vegan, I wasn't trying to live a lifestyle. I wasn't looking for a lifestyle. From the day I went vegan, I was vegan. And there were times, and it was almost kind of weird because it wasn't like fighting a craving, it was just telling myself something in my head. Something would happen and, the meat was pretty obvious. You're always thinking no meat, but then I'd want some cheese or I'd want something that was dairy. And I'd think about it for a second and I'd say, oh, wait a minute, I'm vegan. I don't eat that. It wasn't it was almost like, I understand this very fine line and everybody talking about being gentle with yourself and easy with yourself, but without being too harsh for yourself. You're walking a balance. You have to have some boundaries on yourself. You have to push yourself a little bit. You have to have some rules for yourself. Not only you can determine how hard you're going to push yourself, but all these little mind tricks, you just, you basically decide, I am a vegan. What does it mean to be a vegan? It means that I don't eat animal products. That's not complicated. It doesn't take dramatic, it doesn't take any big long system to learn how to do it. You're vegan. You don't eat animal products. How about being a raw vegan? Almost the same, but a little bit more of a process to that one, but it's still the spark, the initial spark is the same. If you want to be raw vegan, once I always say, somebody will catch me on that. You always have lawyer types watching that'll say, well, I don't want to be raw vegan. Okay, so I'm saying, if you want to be raw vegan, you decide, I'm going to be raw vegan. And you work towards that. Well, okay, from day one, you are vegan because you're not eating animal products. So you have a big chunk of the battle right there, beaten. And then you're going to want to transition in and cut out the cooked food little by little. You don't want to go to high raw, right off the bat. But you've made that decision. You've made that decision that this is the lifestyle I want to live. This is what I am. I'm raw vegan. And you work towards that. With the weight loss, that's a little bit more, you can't just say I am weight loss. But you can still flip that switch in your head. You can still say, I don't know, somehow the last time, even though I started losing weight and I was on a weight loss journey before I necessarily got on this raw vegan journey, I knew, I had decided that I was going to get healthy. I was going to drop the weight that I wanted to drop that time. And there was just something in my head that was different. I knew that I had decided to do this, and there wasn't any more, and I didn't have any patience for setbacks and going back and this and that. Now, I made my own mistakes, but I was pretty high raw vegan from that point. Or no, I'm talking about the weight loss. I pretty much stuck to the plan that I had at the time, which a lot of it was very close to being vegan during the day. I would eat my fruits and smoothies, and then at night, I was still being healthy, but I had decided I was going to lose this weight. I decided I was going to be healthy, and I decided it was going to take this time. Okay, I had a little interruption there, guys. This is actually pretty funny. I'm going to finish up the video. I was almost done anyway, but I'm going to tell you a little story. It's like God, the universe, somebody's messing with me right now. I live in a quiet little universe here. I can sit at my house all day with it pretty quiet until I pull the camera out. Now in the background you're going to hear it's after school. They're doing some drum practice. It's a simple beat, but they practicing it every day until Independence Day gets here. Or the kids start screaming, the dog starts barking, but they only seem to do this when I pull the camera out. I'm starting to think I have powers, that I control things, that I control the universe. Not really, but it is kind of funny, like every time I pull this camera out now. And I'll be back in Bama. I got absolute quiet in Bama. I can sit in my yard for probably 3 days and won't make a sound other than birds. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to finish this up real quick. And I didn't go back and look at the tape to see exactly where I stopped, but it's basically about just turning the switch and making the decision. Is this the time? I mean, and I don't want to be heavy-handed here, and I don't want to say something harsh, but I do want to be real with you. And if you've been, if you're just, if you've been trying to do whatever you've been trying to do, and you haven't been successful, and you've been trying to do it for months and months and months, possibly a year, possibly more years, you might be wasting your time because you haven't set your will yet. And when we set, the human will is a very strong thing. And now again, for the lawyer types, I know that somebody can pick out exceptions. There's exceptions to everything. A lot of times, I'm a numbers guy. I like percentages. I like to know what percentage of population does this and that. So when I say things, sometimes it's like that's a generality, and I know it's a generality, but generalities or generalizing still has some validity to it. If you get my meaning on that, because just because you're generalizing, as long as you realize there's exceptions, the general is generally going to happen. So what I'm saying is if you're struggling that much, maybe you haven't turned that switch, maybe you haven't really set your will yet, because our human will is very strong. You're not going to get a trick like, I watch videos, and I remember, when I first got into this lifestyle and I'm watching videos, what I was looking for. I think you're always looking for that next video that's going to tell you the trick of exactly, okay, you're going to put this in your mouth at this time, this in your mouth, blah, blah, blah. It's not so much about, we want to always educate ourselves, like I preach about the food and how we can make ourselves healthier, but in the end, the number one thing for success, and you will never succeed until you do that, is when you set your will. When you set your will that you're going to be vegan, you're going to be raw vegan, you're going to lose weight, you're going to do it. Anyhow, just my 2 cents worth. This will be the last video from the house here in Costa Rica. Taking off to go to the city tomorrow, and then I'll be flying to Alabama on Wednesday. I am taking the camera, so I make videos when I'm in Alabama, but I might do a special treat and do some video in the city in San Jose tomorrow, especially if I get to go to my little vegan restaurant that I haven't been to in over 1.5 years. Anyhow, thanks for watching the video. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and hope you're having a great week. Love you guys.